Greetings, dear friends, wherever you are in the world. From a faraway village nestled between rolling hills and whispering fields, I bring you something truly incredible. Today, not only are we going to prepare the ingredients with care and intention, but we're going to craft the entire dish together. The journey of flavors begins right here, right now. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe and give this video a like. It's a small click for you, but a big help for us. Let's roll up our sleeves and get right to it. Time to milk the cow, because the ingredient we're whipping up today is cheese. Not just any cheese, but a golden homemade delight, like capturing the morning sun and folding it into silk. Milking is not just a task. It is a quiet ritual, a conversation between you and the animal. You need patience, a gentle hand, and above all, respect. The cow must feel safe, calm, and unhurried. The first few streams are released to cleanse the passage. Then comes the flow, slow and steady, like pouring morning light into a pail. Now that we've got our fresh milk, it's time to turn it into something truly special. First, we pour it into a pot and slowly bring it to a boil. Not a roaring boil, just enough heat to coax the richness out. Think of it like waking the milk up gently from its slumber. Once it's warm and ready, we add a fermented agent, a bit of starter, a spark, like planting a seed and waiting for it to bloom. Once the ferment does its quiet work, we cover the pot with a towel, just like tucking it in for a nap. We let it sit in stillness while the culture slowly weaves its way through the milk. Meanwhile, while the milk rests and does its quiet work, we move on to the rest of our ingredients. First, we wake up the yeast, a bit of warm water, a little stir, and we set it aside. Then we start mixing the rest. This is where the dough for our kachapuri begins to take shape, soft and promising, like a pillow waiting to rise. Now comes the heart of it, the dough. We add flour, a pinch of salt, an egg for richness, and a splash of olive oil. Bit by bit we bring it all together, letting our hands do the thinking. My grandmother used to say, kachapuri dough must be as soft and gentle as the cheese that fills it. And she was right. It should feel like silk under your fingers. The milk has thickened beautifully, which means the fermented agent has done its job. Now it is time to cut it. We do this to separate the curds from the whey, helping the cheese firm up and release its moisture. Now that the curds have been cut, it is time to separate them from the whey. My wife's using a piece of clean gauze and gently gathers the curds. The whey begins to drain, slow and steady, leaving behind the soft body of the cheese. This step is important because the more whey you remove, the firmer your cheese will be. There's a quiet kind of joy in making cheese at home. No machines humming, no timers beeping. Just you, the milk, and time doing its work. The steps aren't complicated, but they do ask for something in return. Patience, attention, care. I've always had a soft spot for goats, especially when they're still kids. Full of energy, clumsy on their little legs, always chasing shadows and chewing on anything they can reach. I like playing with them whenever I get the chance. While I'm playing around with goats, my wife is in the middle of hard work. No judging looks, I'll join here in a minute. The cheese has firmed up and now we must cover it with a good amount of salt. Salt does more than season. It draws out the last bits of moisture, helps the cheese keep longer, and deepens the flavour, giving it that gentle tang that lingers on the tongue. Look at this dough, bubbling away alive with yeast. I've always liked the smell of it. There's something raw and honest in it, like the beginning of something good. The cooking history of the Caucasus is so rich and layered that if I started telling you everything, we wouldn't finish by the end of this episode. Centuries of tradition, trade, migration, and storytelling, all folded into dough, stirred into stews, passed down through the smoke of village ovens. But still, let's pause for a moment to praise one of its brightest gems. Georgian cuisine. Bold, soulful, generous. It brought the world the famous Ajarian kachapuri, that golden boat of dough cradling melted cheese and a sunset bright egg in the middle. Some say the famous boat shape represents the sea itself, while the egg yolk in the center symbolizes the sun floating above the horizon. Since the Ajarian kachapuri originates from the coastal Ajara region in western Georgia, and traditionally this dish was made to nourish sailors. The crusts are torn off and dipped into the molten mix of cheese, butter, and egg at the center. It's eaten hot with your hands and always with a sense of celebration. This is what I love about food. It tells you where you are, even if you've never been there before. Make sure you smother the crust with a good amount of butter. Let it melt down slowly and soak into the dough. It will enrich the crust with a creamy taste. Since our boat is quite big, we decided to crack in more than one egg. The yolks will settle into that sea of cheese, glowing like little suns. Now let's add a handful of greens, just a touch for colour and freshness. It lifts the whole look like a final brushstroke on a painting. And then back into the oven it goes. One last journey to bring everything together. The crust, the cheese, the eggs, everything bubbling, rising, finishing just right. And by the way, if you'd like to bring a little piece of our Faraway village into your own kitchen, make sure to visit our shop. Just scan the QR code and take a look. Of course, we're going to have tea with this. How could we not? A proper Georgian table is never complete without a pot of strong, fragrant tea. Just look at this gorgeous kachapuri, fresh out of the oven. The crust is golden and puffed, still crackling as it cools. The butter has melted into every ridge, giving it that soft, shiny finish. And now comes my favourite part, the moment just before dinner. Everything is ready. The kachapuri is still warm, the tea is poured, and for a second the whole world feels quiet. It's that soft pause before the first bite, when the smells fill the room. For me, this moment always brings a kind of peace. It's not just about eating. It's about sharing, about connection, about knowing that something you made with your own hands is now something you get to enjoy with the people you care about. Thank you for spending this time with me. I hope you felt the warmth of our kitchen. If you decide to make this dish, share it with someone. Sit down, pour some tea, and enjoy the moment. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe, like the video. Until next time. Greetings, dear people. We are back together at the same spot in our beloved Faraway village. Before the sweetness of summer ever meets the simmering pot, before the scent of bubbling strawberries rises to fill a kitchen with memory and magic, the story of strawberry jam begins here. In Faraway village, the rhythm of the day starts with feeding the animals, calves nudging their noses into pails, chickens rustling impatiently, goats calling out in chorus. There's a kind of music in this routine, one played not with notes, but with hooves, beaks, and the soft scrape of hay. It's this quiet diligence that roots rural life, where caring for animals isn't just a task, but a way of grounding oneself in the seasons. And speaking of seasons, it's late spring now when the air warms but still carries a flirtation of breeze, and the strawberries, oh the strawberries, are ready to sing. Not just any strawberries, mind you. When it comes to jam, not all berries are created equal, and in Azerbaijan there's only one place that truly whispers perfection: Lankaran. Nestled between the Caspian Sea and the lush Talish Mountains, Lankaran boasts a unique microclimate, humid, rich and temperate, ideal for growing the most fragrant, ruby-red strawberries imaginable. The soil here cradles sweetness, and the long sunlit days bring berries to a ripeness that is nothing short of poetic. One does not simply pick strawberries in Lankaran. One gathers little drops of sunlight still warm from the vine. Knowing when a strawberry is ready to be picked is an art as much as a science. Look for a deep, uniform red. No white shoulders or greenish tips. The flesh should yield just slightly under your fingers, with that unmistakable aroma rising up like a promise. The berry, when ripe, almost tells you itself it's time. If these strawberries got you spreading smiles, give us a like and subscribe, because life's just sweeter when we're cooking together. From the fields with baskets brimming, we travel back with our harvest. In the village, jam making isn't just culinary, it's cultural heritage. There's something reverent about the whole process. People gather together and bring pots that have simmered over decades, wooden spoons polished smooth from use. Sugar is measured by eye, strawberries are tossed in with a knowing hand, and then comes the waiting, the stirring, the slow transformation. Time does not hurry here. It thickens, sweetens, reduces, just like the jam itself. Traditionally, jam was a way to hold on to summer, to bottle up brightness for the darker months. In a village where winters are long and fields lie quiet, a spoonful of strawberry jam on warm bread brings more than flavour. It brings light, memory, sun-kissed afternoon of a season gone by. For many, it's tied to childhood standing on tiptoe at the stove, begging to stir just once. There's also a practicality to preserves. In rural homes where self-sufficiency isn't a lifestyle trend but a necessity, jars line shelves like trophies of foresight. Every jar is a little act of defiance against scarcity, a quiet declaration that abundance can be made to last. So when we say, from the field to the jar, it's more than a catchphrase. And when the last jar is sealed, lined up against the cold to come, there's a deep and certain satisfaction. Because in that moment, you've captured something fleeting and turned it into something that will last. But not all the strawberries meet the flame of the jam pot. Some take a different path. A path that doesn't bubble and boil, but instead settles into a slow, velvety stillness. These strawberries become pastila, a fruit leather so light and fragrant it feels like summer, was pressed into a page. Now my wife spreads the puree thinly and evenly across wide trays, sometimes over parchment, sometimes on special silicone mat. Once it's ready, firm, pliable and dry to the touch but still soft within, it peels off the tray in one satisfying sheet. It's then cut into strips, sometimes rolled like scrolls or layered into tidy stacks. And then into the oven. But not to bake. No, pastila doesn't bake, but rests. The door is left slightly ajar, the heat barely a whisper. The idea is not to cook the puree, but to coax out its moisture slowly, preserving its color and its aroma. This step is called maceration. The berries are layered with sugar in a wide copper or enamel pot and left to sit for hours, sometimes overnight. During this waiting, the sugar draws out the juice, coaxing the strawberries into releasing their own syrup. So, while the jam simmers and the pastila sets, feel free to browse our little online shop. You'll find hand-forged knives sharp enough to glide through lamb like butter, and woolen socks lovingly woven by my wife, thick, warm, and laced with the scent of mountain air. Just scan the QR code and there you are, satisfied and snug, with a touch of Faraway village wrapped around your feet. And now listen closely. The jam is bubbling. The strawberries, once firm and bright, have surrendered themselves completely, melted into a ruby red sea. The jam is done. Now we set it aside, not just to cool, but to settle. Carefully, we ladle the jam into sterilized jars while it's still hot, allowing it to fill each one to the brim. Let's get some for the tea table as well. After all that work, we've earned a little taste of our own labour. I'm lighting the samovar. Someone's got to do it after all. The last jar is sealed and ready to be sent for a long sleep until the cold winter season knocks at our village door. I can handle this much better. Let's add some strawberries to the teapot as well. Today, the air smells like strawberries. It's in the steam curling from the samovar, in the smudges on the chopping board, in the sticky fingertips no one bothers to wash just yet. It's in every breath we take this evening. The tea table is set. There's no fuss, no fancy napkin folds, but everything sings with quiet hospitality. It's pure strawberry, but deeper and more concentrated. You taste the fruit first, bright, tangy, sunlit, then comes that sweetness. The texture is luscious, velvety, with just the faintest trace of softened fruit, enough to remind you it's real, homemade, pulled from vine to flame by your own hands. And just like that, the day comes to a close, not with a bang, but with a warm sip, a shared smile, and a spoonful of strawberry summer on your tongue. Until next time in Faraway Village, where every season has its flavor, and every flavor has a story. Hello, dear friends, from every corner of the map. Today, we're whisking ourselves away to the far-flung village where life hums at a gentler rhythm. Stick around because you're about to discover a little treasure of the countryside, fragrant, golden banana jam, a spread so divine it might just coax a song out of your morning toast. Before we roll up our sleeves, let's take a quick stroll through the bustling heart of the village and the local market. With our bounty secured, bunches and bunches of golden bananas, it's time to load them up. You know, a few days ago I had this slice of banana bread, warm, soft, just perfect, but something was missing. I kept thinking, this needs something richer, something that melts right into it. That's when it hit me. Banana jam, sweet, fragrant, golden, the missing piece. So here I am today, car full of fresh bananas, ready to make it happen. I don't know if it'll turn out exactly how I imagine it, but that's half the fun, isn't it? If you're curious to see how this little adventure ends, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit that like button. But banana jam isn't the only thing on the menu today. There's something even bigger brewing, or should I say, building. We're finally putting up a tandoor. A real, honest-to-goodness clay oven, right here in the backyard. It's been a dream of mine for a while, and today, between the jam jars and the clay bricks, it's all coming together. You know, in Azerbaijan, making jam isn't just a way to use up fruit. It's practically an art form, a tradition passed down like a secret recipe from one generation to the next. Every household has their treasures. Rose petal jam, as delicate as a whisper, white cherry jam glistening like little drops of gold, quince jam rich and honeyed, filling the whole house with the smell of autumn. But banana jam, well, that's a bit of a newcomer. It's not part of the old tradition. No grandmother ever stirred a pot of bananas over a wood fire. But in a way, that's what makes it exciting. It's a little twist, a little rebellion, taking something sweet and familiar and giving it a new story. And honestly, isn't that how all traditions grow? One small, daring spoonful at a time. Now, a little splash of salt, just a pinch. You might be wondering, salt in something so sweet? Salt isn't here to steal the show, it's here to lift every note, to sharpen the sweetness, to make the bananas taste even more like themselves. Now we begin the process in earnest. Into a heavy-bottomed pot, she pours a measured amount of water, letting it settle quietly at the base. With a steady hand, she stirs the mixture, watching as the sugar dissolves, transforming the liquid into a clear, shimmering syrup. Once the syrup reaches the perfect consistency, glossy, smooth, and slightly thickened, it's time to introduce the bananas. While my wife tends to the delicate work of the jam, carefully stirring, watching, and nurturing it to perfection, I turn my attention to another task that calls for patience and care. Our garden. After all, someone must think about the future harvest. If you would like to follow more of our daily life, the small joys, the quiet labours, and the simple pleasures of the countryside, I invite you to join us on Instagram. Here in the countryside, every stone laid, every brick shaped, carries a weight beyond its simple form. It speaks of the dignity of labor, of the quiet pride found in working with one's hands, and of the timeless bond between people and the land that sustains them. Crafting a tandoor is no small task. It demands skill, care, and respect for the materials. Clay, earth, straw, humble elements are transformed through human touch into something that will feed families, mark celebrations, and warm countless evenings to come. It is, in every sense, a labor of love. If you would like to bring a piece of our village life into your own home, feel free to visit our online shop. Meanwhile, back in the kitchen, the banana jam has reached its final glorious stage. The once pale fruit has deepened into a rich amber hue, with tender pieces suspended like jewels within a translucent syrup. My wife is preparing tea so that we can take a short break with some freshly made banana jam after the arduous work. Tea time in the village is more than just a pause in the day. It is a small celebration of life itself. After hours of hard work, sitting together brings a quiet sense of satisfaction. Neighbours might wander over, drawn by the scent of tea and warm conversation, until the table is filled with laughter and familiar voices. Here, friendships are built not on grand gestures like shared work, shared meals, and the comforting certainty that no one carries the weight of the day alone. With the jam now perfectly cooked, it is time to seal it. Another task is complete, and soon these jars will line the shelves, ready to brighten many meals to come. If you enjoyed spending this day with us, making banana jam, to taking the first steps in building our tandoor, I invite you to subscribe to the channel and leave a like. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to welcoming you back for the next part of the journey. Good day and welcome. In this quiet village, mornings begin with the smell of freshly baked pies and herbs picked straight from the garden. I'm glad to invite you on this peaceful journey where cooking becomes a way of connecting with place, people, and pure flavor. If this journey feels like one you'd like to continue, do like and subscribe, and thank you for being here. Sifting keeps it airy and smooth, no clumps, no guessing. It's a small step, but it sets the tone for everything that follows. Then comes the melted butter, warm, not hot. She adds it straight into the flour, no fuss. It starts pulling everything together just a bit at a time. So here, just a bowl, a spoon, and a good sense of texture. She's done this enough to know when it's right. While she kneads the dough, I get the water going. Just a small pot, enough to boil what we need for the filling later. We've got our rhythm by now. She handles the dough, I prep the rest. No talking, no plan, just quiet teamwork that knows us well. Besides cooking, we're building something with our hands, something real. It's not just about the food, it's about the work behind it, the rhythm, the routine, the effort you don't always see. If you like seeing the process, the real side of it, you can follow along on Instagram too. We share more there, the in-between moments that don't always make it into the final cut. That spinach came from the garden out back. We planted it in early spring, didn't expect much one, but it came up strong. Rich soil, just enough rain. It's funny how different things taste when you've watched them grow. You treat them with more respect. Even chopping feels different when you know where it started. Once it's chopped, we wilt the spinach down just a little, just enough to soften it and bring out the colour. Then we squeeze out the water. You've got to do that part or the filling gets soggy. It's a small thing, but it makes all the difference. While the spinach cools, it's time for a quick tea break. Nothing fancy, just strong black tea, a bit of sugar, and a quiet minute to sit. We don't rush here. There's always time for tea. It resets the pace, clears your head, and somehow makes everything taste better when you get back to work. We start with a bit of butter in the pan, low heat, just enough to melt without browning. Then in goes the fresh, finely chopped garlic. Let it bloom in the butter for a minute and you'll smell when it's ready. Then the onions. They go in right after, picking up all that garlic flavour. We stir, let them soften, turn golden. This part takes a little patience, since you want sweet, not sharp. Spinach gets a rough chop here, nothing too fine. It'll finish cooking in the pan later, so no need to fuss. The spinach goes into the pan, chopped, drained, and ready. It hits the onions and garlic, and the smell changes immediately. The spinach is cooked through now. It's soft enough, but still holding its colour. Then she adds a few eggs. No milk, nothing extra. They'll hold the filling together when it bakes. Then the cheese goes in, grated but not too fine. It melts into the filling, holding everything together without overpowering it. Pies in Azerbaijan aren't just one thing. Some are flaky, some soft, some pan-fried, some baked until golden and crisp. What they have in common is this: they show up when something matters, guests, holidays, or just a good day to eat well. We don't bake ours, we're going to pan-fry them, like we always have. The crust gets crisp on the outside, soft in the middle, and the filling stays warm and full of flavour. Once the dough is ready, we start filling. A spoonful goes in, then it's folded, sealed, and set aside. Nothing complicated, just careful hands and a hot pan waiting. For those who wonder how to stay closer to the craft, you can get one of our handmade knives. I use mine every day right alongside the socks my wife knits for me. Just scan QR code and here you are. The pan's hot and not smoking, just enough to give the pies a good crust. No crowding. Let them fry until the bottoms turn golden, then flip. It's not about rushing. You'll hear the sizzle soften when they're ready. The last batch is almost done. I stack the finished ones on the table, still warm. If you enjoyed spending this time with us, feel free to like the video and subscribe for more. There's always something cooking. We finally sit down at the table. No rush, no ceremony, just hot pies, simple tea, and that satisfying kind of tired. It's not a special occasion, just a regular day made better by the food we made ourselves. Thanks for being here. If this kind of slow, real cooking speaks to you, go ahead and like and subscribe. We'd love to have you back. Until next time in Faraway Village. Greetings, dear friends. Hidden deep in this faraway village where the past whispers through the wind and the earth hums with tradition, we gather to craft something truly special. Wrapped in history, folded with care, These delicate Azerbaijani bites are more than just food. They are stories told in silk-thin layers, a symphony of flavor waiting to unfold. Stay with me, and let's bring this centuries-old magic to life. Dolma has deep roots tracing back to the times of the Persian and Ottoman empires, shaped by the flavors of the Silk Road. But Azerbaijani dolma has a character of its own. Small, delicate, wrapped so tightly, they hold their shape like little treasure bundles. A mix of finely minced lamb, fragrant herbs, butter, onions and rice, a balance of flavors so perfect it has been recognized by UNESCO as part of Azerbaijan's cultural heritage. But dolma is not made in solitude. It is born in the hands of many. It is the laughter of grandmothers, the nimble fingers of mothers, the eager help of children, all gathered around, rolling, folding, pressing the past into the present. It is a dish of love, of togetherness, of stories whispered between each delicate leaf. Let's hop in and get going. Just don't expect a smooth ride. This car has seen more years than some of the recipes we're making today. It rattles, it groans, and if we're lucky, it'll get us there without needing a little persuasion. The word itself, dolma, comes from the Turkic dolmak, meaning to be filled, and truly, that's exactly what these little parcels are. Filled with the perfect blend of tender meat, fragrant herbs, and a touch of rice. Each bite offers a burst of flavor that's as comforting as it is satisfying. Whether wrapped in vine leaves, cabbage or eggplant, the delicate folding of each one ensures a mouthful of perfectly balanced taste. The beauty of dolma lies not just in the ingredients, but in how they all come together. If you're loving the journey here in Faraway Village, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give this video a like. Your support means the world, and we've got so much more to share with you.
Sana kozmam. Hoşuma gelir.
Fresh grape leaves are blanched for a few seconds in boiling water to soften them up, then carefully packed in jars with a bit of salt and water. This method locks in their color, flavor and texture, allowing them to stay fresh even when the growing season is over. For added preservation, some like to add a small touch of lemon or vinegar to the jars, which also gives the leaves a nice, subtle tang. Once preserved, these leaves can be used whenever you're ready to make dolma, whether it's in the middle of summer or the dead of winter. It's like capturing a bit of sunshine in a jar, allowing the flavors of the harvest to shine no matter the season. You could go for beef or even chicken, but there's something about lamb that truly brings the dish to life. And within that beautiful lamb leg is the cut you want to reach for. When it comes to preparing lamb for dolma, you need the right tools to handle the meat with precision. And that's where the importance of a good knife comes in. That's why I trust my own line of knives, crafted to cut through meat like butter and give you the control you need in the kitchen. So if you're ready to level up your cooking game, head over to the shop and find the perfect tools to make your dolma experience even better. Now, when it comes to the filling, this is where the dish truly comes alive, each element coming together in perfect harmony. The meat, finely chopped to the point where it almost melts in your mouth, should be just the right texture, not too coarse, but not too finely minced either. Fresh, vibrant herbs like dill, cilantro, and parsley add layers of brightness, while a hint of garlic brings depth and warmth. Every pinch of spice is carefully measured, a delicate dance between boldness and subtlety. It's all about finding that perfect balance, where the flavors don't overpower, but rather elevate one another. As you take a grape leaf, you want to feel its veins, its texture, the way it bends without breaking. Lay it flat, smooth, almost like it's inviting you to shape it. Place just the right amount of filling at the base, not too much, not too little, but just enough to allow the leaf to wrap snugly around it without feeling overstuffed. Then comes the gentle roll. No rushing, no forcing. As you roll, think of it as swaddling the filling, gently enclosing it in its leafy blanket. Tuck the sides in so that the filling stays snug.
Nelga havaş Bobby. Havaş ma. Ha, ay sağ ol. Gelsin de, gelsin. Gelsin. Ha, açık. Ha, hadi açık. Sağ ol. You're behind the credit card here.
My wife places a spoon at the bottom of the pot, like a little cushion, for the dolmas. This might seem like a small step, but it's essential. It keeps the dolmas from touching the hot surface of the pot and burning. Meanwhile, the plate holds everything down, letting the steam do its magic and cook the dolmas to perfection. A few slices of lemon, the final touch that brightens everything up. The dolmas should be gently simmered for about 45 minutes to an hour. You want them to cook slowly, giving the meat time to soften, the rice to tenderize, and the flavors to really soak into the leaves. Keep the heat low and steady, just enough to keep everything bubbling gently. After all that cooking, it's time to unwind with a cup of tea. Whether it's a classic black tea, a soothing green, or something with a bit of mint to refresh the senses, tea time is about more than just the drink. It's about taking a breath, appreciating the flavors you've created, and savoring the calm that follows a great meal. In Azerbaijan, dolma is never truly complete without its perfect companion, a garlicky sauce. This sauce is the soul of the dish. To temper the boldness of the garlic, we add sour cream, a creamy, tangy embrace that softens its sharp heat with smooth, velvety richness. The sour cream brings a softness, a coolness that wraps around the sharpness, creating a perfect harmony of flavors. And now, after all the careful steps, the dolma is ready. The grape leaves have softened and embraced the filling, holding each bite together like a treasured secret. The meat, rice, and herbs have melded perfectly, and the flavors have deepened, each element singing in harmony. For the people of Azerbaijan, dolma is a song of the land, of vineyards bathed in golden light, of summers spent under the shade of trees, where stories are shared and laughter echoes through the evening air. To eat dolma is to taste the earth beneath your feet, to feel the connection of family, and to embrace the love that goes into every leaf, every spice, every bite. Thank you for being part of this experience. Until next time, enjoy your dolma, and let it remind you that every dish is a journey, every bite a memory,